Another week, another pile of new games. Some you will probably forget in about a minute. A few, though, of these might actually stick around. Hello friends, welcome back. This is Mobile. Today we're going to be checking out 20 more new must-play mobile games of August for Android and iOS.
Meu Deus.
Alright, so first of all, Hell Clock actually took a little over a year to come around, but it's finally here. It's an Android only though, one of the more addictive roguelike ARPGs that sort of blends intensity with build crafting. The game has a sort of a ticking timer that forces you to sort of prioritize an efficient combat, creating a sort of a high risk, high reward loop that keeps everyone a little fresh and tense at the same time. The combat's pretty smooth, there's freedom to experiment with skills, relics, gear combinations. Overall, I would say we highly recommend it if you're into roguelikes. One problem though, it's a premium paid game with a tag of $15. Currently in open beta on Android and iOS with a chunky 5GB size and crossplay between PC and mobile. Number 2, we've got Gigabash Mobile, basically SETI's permission to solve its problems using Godzilla. So yeah, like it's a fighting game, it's an action fighting game. You've got 1 to 4 player fights with story bits, arcade, onslaught, and battle modes, plus a ridiculous amount of party minigames. Although, of course, battle mode though is where things get properly stupid, like the best way. There's meteors, lasers, and just entire buildings becoming your ammunition. Check it out in case you missed it. It's a free game. Like I said, it's in beta right now.
This is Invokers,
the all-new real-time action RPG.
Invoker's Legacy, or Invoker's Titan Legacy, has actually been around since February this year, but only now, as of this week, it's available worldwide and it's available on the Apple Store as well. And in case you missed it, it's like developers of this game looked at Raid, Shadow Legends, threw away the turn-based combat and said, well, let's just, we're going to be beating everything up by ourselves here. And well, the actions were things, earned their keep. The graphics are seriously good for mobile, the combat is pretty smooth, there's a mountain of progression waiting behind it, and for those of you who don't really like the ground, the auto mode is there as well. And the characters do really matter. This is probably one of those mobile RPGs that's considerably more expansive than it basically looks. Spirimon's at number 4, in case you missed it before, is an action-adventure basically. It feels like ghost hunting if it was made for people who actually want to get traumatized over it. So it's a pretty cool little mix of horror, investigation, and creature collecting, where you go in and look into these haunted houses, look for clues, figure out which spirits that you're dealing with, then you're going to be capturing it and add it to your little ghost squad. Meaning, your captured spirits actually help with future investigations with you. So as you're going, you're slowly building a team as well. Definitely want to at least keep an eye out for if you're into weird indie games. Sally Face at number 5 here is still one of those hidden gems that never really got the attention it deserved when it was first released on PCs. It looks really weird, weird as hell at first, but once the story gets going, you're in for some one seriously dark mystery. It's not your typical horror game, of course, it's more about the story, the minimal, almost sketchy atmosphere with the moments where you just sit there thinking, what the hell am I even playing? One of the finest indie adventures out there right now, easily. It's an offline game on Android and iOS, and one downside, it's actually a paid game. With that being said, Landman Oil Simulator here basically starts you with one oil rig and just asks you how long it takes before you become the guy who owns half the map. It's a sim game. Well, as you can see, it's a sim game. It plays offline actually. It takes you about half a gigabyte in total, and that actually makes up real good for it. You drill oil, load it up, drive it to a refinery, watch prices, upgrade your trucks, build new facilities, and just hire workers to keep things moving for you. It's got also driving and management that, sort of mixed together. Pretty simple idea in fact, but definitely one for anyone who enjoys building something from basically nothing. Infinite Flight at number 7 is pretty much for anyone who thought they could probably land an airplane just by looking out the window. It's a flight simulator game obviously with a tiny touch of extra detail, where it's got realistic navigations, airports, weather, weight settings, autopilots, iOS, and even engine startup, but you can also plan the fight or fly yourself, or let the plane do some of the boring stuff by itself if you don't want. The beta is free, it's online, 1 GB, although the full experience is kinda locked behind Infinite Flight Pro. Still, if you want a actual flight sim, that's actually one of the serious ones. With that being said, gripless is for people who think going through a corner normally feels like a sort of admitting defeat. Whereas the whole thing is just built around drifting, and it gives you like a lot to do with. We've got time attacks, free roaming, and about 20 different mission careers, plus car tuning, visual customization, and also different tires for different weathers. It's a free game, it's online, about 400 megabytes in total, and for a mobile drift game that's actually playable for free, this one's a pretty solid place to just burn some calorie. Anaconda multiplayer horror is actually now finally available on both PC and mobile, and also despite the name, it's actually playable fully offline as well. So for those of you who missed it before, Anaconda sort of keeps things quite simple, you know, there's no guns, there's no hero powers, it's just you, a dark house, whatever this place is, and just one very unhappy snake looking for dinner. Now you're in the situation where you've got to hide, run, keep the noise down because the anaconda reacts to your sound and you're walking. The whole thing is just basically you gaslighting the snake long enough to find your way out. If you're after a simple old school survival horror setup, this one's actually pretty damn creepy as well. Coming up behind that at number 10, we've got Apex Fishing. I'm not even sure where this gym sort of even came from, but it's a kind of fishing game that expects you to know what you're doing. You know, like fishes behave differently, your tackle matters, you're like basically all the time managing things like the reel drag and rod tension instead of simply tapping. You've got lakes, rivers, different species, proper bait, and a ridiculous amount of gear to play around with. This is about as close as mobile fishing gets to sitting beside the water with a rod in your hand. It's a free game, it's online, we actually give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. So with that being said, guys, driving school is, I would argue, for anyone who just wants a proper driving sim without turning the living room into a driving test, you know? You've got the open city, the traffic, the people, parking lessons, and even manual or automatic transmissions. But, you see, there's also free drive and career mode, and a decent selection of cars to customize as you go. The nicest part about this game is that all the little driving details, like, you know, signals, headlights, wipers, all matter, so you can actually become a better driver. It's a free game, about 2 gigabytes in total, pretty good looking. We give it a solid 9 out of 10 actually. With that being said, number 12, we've got Master Barber Sim. Basically the game for anyone who's ever looked at a haircut and thought they could do it too. And you won't even have to pay to play it either, it's a free game. You've got clippers, razors, a bunch of dyes, and you just start giving customers fades, shaves, trims, and some questionable hairstyles once they start demanding it. And yeah, if you mess things up, there's no problem. The barber shop has magic hair growth, so you cannot do whatever you've done. It's an offline game, $2.50 in total, and it's a pretty simple way to just waste some time. Subject Experiment number 13 feels like someone threw a third-person shooter in a underground horror lab and decided that nobody wants you alive. The story is you're trapped with your girlfriend here, maybe that's why, and you're just searching for a way out. There's a lot of shooting, exploration, puzzles, plenty of darkness where you're thinking like something's waiting for you there, but it's also a free game, it's offline, no more than half a gigabyte in total. Honestly, not a bad horror shooter if you just want something you can play without Wi-Fi. Suikoden is now finally available on Android and iOS as of today. First of all, it is not a lazy port wearing the same name. Star Leap is in fact a brand new anime in the series that, for those of you who missed it, actually brings back the old classic Suikoden feeling of building a huge cast around you, watching the story slowly getting dragged into something much bigger than where you started, and it's actually free. In fact, with most players calling the game already a 10 out of 10. Check it out. Star Leap launched in Japan, so technically it's already live, but the global rollout, however, is still sort of separate. Number 15, we've got over here Terrible Educator, which actually takes the whole creepy kindergarten idea and asks you to just sort of survive the worst school day imaginable, you know? It's not a kid's game, by the way, where so you play as this kidnapped child yourself, trying to escape this place while this Miss T and a bunch of other psychopaths are there, you know, guarding it. So yeah, the kindergarten settings actually make the whole thing creepier, especially with the sound design and all the little surprises here and there. It's a free game, it's offline, only 150 megabytes in total, and I don't know, if you like simple hide and seeks, hide and escape horror games, well, this one's at least worth a look. Convergence, on another hand, is an iOS exclusive, but it's a damn fine gem, I would argue. Basically, dark fantasy auto-battling with a little bit of Diablo flavor thrown in. You pick your heroes, sort out the gear, let them just handle the fighting while you're just hoping for the best of preparation, and that whatever you prepared wasn't terrible, and later on the game's pace is just the most addictive thing in the world. It's a $4.99 purchase, it's offline, it's set to be coming to Android soon. If you're into auto-battlers, but also you want something darker and more old school looking, this one's at least worth checking out. Moondust at number 17 actually came out a little more than a day ago, and it's another iOS exclusive. One of those games where like the background almost does all the work for you. The story is you're flying through these alien planets, fighting for your life, surviving, while solving a bit of a little puzzle here and there. The gameplay is pretty simple. In fact, the visuals give it a much bigger feeling than you'd expect from a side-scroller. It's a free game, thankfully. It's about 300 megabytes in total, iOS exclusive. Definitely worth checking out if you're into space games with a little bit of atmosphere. Auto Fire, which actually came out a little less than 48 hours ago, is an action first-person shooter, but it's sort of stripped down. It's a 5v5 where the gun does the shooting itself and you just do the thinking. Sort of giving it a little old-school arcade feel, if you know what I mean. Like you move, you position yourself, watch the angles, and let the auto fire system just handle the trigger work, and the rest is familiar territory, you know, different weapons, upgrades, team-based matches, and a bunch of different maps. It's a free game, it's online. I think it is controller support. If you've been playing shooters since the old days, you like arcade shooting, well, Auto Fire is a pretty interesting little mix that's actually coming from an indie developer. Guide Us One at number 19, I would argue is the sort of game that knows the secret to a good dungeon crawler. Not only every step matter, you move across a grid in real time. Pick your moment to strike and hit at the right time. That's the only thing that matters in this game. Every run also reshuffles dungeons with some newer rooms, traps, enemies, bosses, plus the different heroes give you different ways to survive it as well. The pixel art also has a proper old school dungeon crawling charm without looking like somebody found a Game Boy in a drawer. It's a free game, thankfully it's online, also built for one-handed play as well. We'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. And finally, last but not least, we've got over here once again the game Ticket Hero, which is in the list today because it's finally, after a couple of months of release, it's available now on the Apple Store as well. And Ticket Hero is actually a pixel art idle RPG all the way, like from start to finish. It's got a pretty simple hook to it where you awaken different heroes through tickets. Then you can mix and match their skills to build your own combo. While the gameplay is largely idle based, also the action still feels very flashy and alive because of that. It's also got arena battles, guild wars, boss raids, dungeons, daily events, etc. So there's basically always something left for you to do. And that's it. Thanks for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, I'll see you again tomorrow.